Welcome. In this question, what they are saying is there is a 14-year-old healthy girl. She is having recurrent headache. The patient had 4 episodes of throbbing pain on the right side of her head. Means there is a unilateral throbbing type of headache that is occurring, and that is occurring for last 2 months. With the most recent occurring within the week, means a week ago that she had the last episode. The headache often associated with nausea and sometimes with vomiting. So unilateral headache occurring with nausea and vomiting, and that is occurring in a female patient. The pain is relieved when she is lying in a dark room and taking NSAIDs, that is acetaminophen. The episode occurs for typically for 4 to 5 hours, and there is no visual disturbance, no focal weakness, but there is associated tingling in the right upper extremity. Rest of the things are normal. The fundoscopic examination, the neurological examination is normal. What they are asking is which of the following is the most likely involved in the pathogenesis of the current condition. So what I can say is, to summarize this question, I can say a 14-year female having right-sided headache associated with nausea, vomiting, typically occurring for 4 to 5 hours, relieved by taking NSAIDs and lying in the dark room, and she had such episodes in the past also for 4 to 5 episodes in last 2 months. So they are asking that what is the pathogenesis of this disease. So the diagnosis for this condition is going to be migraine. The reason we are saying it is migraine because we use a mnemonic to make the diagnosis of migraine, that is called as pound. In the pound, P stands for pulsatile type of headache, or sometime also referred as throbbing type of headache. O stands for the duration, that is 1 day duration, means typically the migraine attack occurs for in between somewhere 4 to 72 hours. Here also we are having around 5 hours the pain is having. The pain is unilateral in character, associated with nausea and vomiting, and it is disabling in character. Disabling in character in a sense that she has to take rest, she cannot continue his routine daily activity. Because all these criteria are satisfied by this clinical scenario, we can make a diagnosis of migraine. Now what they are asking is what is the mechanism behind migraine, or what is the pathophysio. Now when it comes to pathophysio, there are several theories such as vascular theory, and the other one which has recently came, and that is satisfying, and that is explaining most of the things that is occurring in the migraine. Now what this theory says is, see, there can be several triggering agents that can be there. There can be several triggering agent that can be in the form of environment. It can be diet, hormone, drug. See, anything. Trigger can be anything for this particular condition. What this trigger is going to do is it is going to activate the hypothalamus. That is called as hypothalamic activation. And because this hypothalamic activation, the patient is going to have some symptoms that is in a form of yawning, fatigue, increased urinary frequency. These are the vague symptoms that it is going to occur because of hypothalamic activation, and this is called as premonitory phase. Premonitory phase. Because hypothalamus is related to thalamus, and that is related to cortex. Hypothalamus, thalamus and cortex. So because of there is alteration in hypothalamus, it is going to alter the activity of the thalamus and cortex as well. So because of that, what is going to happen is there is alteration in thalamocortical circuit. And because there is alteration in the thalamocortical circuit, what is going to happen is there is a slow depolarizing wave that is going to occur in the cortex. A slow depolarization of the neurons that is going to occur in a sequence, that is called as slow depolarization wave. Slow depolarization wave in cortex. Now from where this slow depolarization that is started, it is going to manifest as several things, such as if the slow depolarization is started in the, let's say, somatosensory area, then the patient may have tingling sensation. If it is started from the occipital region, then the patient may have visual hallucination such as zigzag lines, scotomas can be there. If it started in the other places, then can lead to dysphagia. So these all the symptoms, they are called as aura. So they ask this question as well, that what is the mechanism behind aura? The mechanism behind aura is the slow depolarization wave that is occurring in the cortex. After that, because of this aura, the slow depolarization wave, what is going to happen is there are certain chemical substance that is going to release, such as calcitonin gene related peptide, CGRP. CGRP stands for calcitonin gene related peptide. Along with that, there is secretion of something called as substance P, and there is increase in a molecule that is called as PCAP. What is this PCAP stands for is the pituitary adenylate cyclase. I will write the name. PCAP stands for pituitary adenylate cyclase activating peptide. So all these molecules, calcitonin gene related peptide, substance P and PCAP, they are going to increase in concentration. And because there is increase in the concentration of this molecule, the patient will have a throbbing or pulsatile type of headache. And after some time, this headache will subside and the patient will have something called as post-monitory phase. In that, there will be increase in the skin sensitivity. There is hypersensitivity of skin that can occur. So in the pathophysio of migraine, we can say there are four stages. One is the premonitory phase, that is hypothalamic activation. Then is the aura, that is because of the slow depolarization wave that is occurring in the cortex. Then is the headache, that is because of the increase in the concentration of these various molecules, calcitonin gene related peptide, substance P and the PCAP, and ultimately there will be post-monitory phase. What they have asked is, what is the mechanism behind this migraine? If you see the options, let's go one by one. The first, they are saying there is increase in the adrenal medullary catecholamines. Increased adrenal medullary catecholamines are associated with pheochromocytoma. Now pheochromocytoma, the headache that is going to occur is going to be episodic in nature. They have not told about that. And that is also associated with palpitation and increased sweating. Astrocyte epidermal growth factors are associated with astrocytoma. That cannot also be the case. Increase in the thalamocortical fiber calcium channel. Thalamocortical fiber calcium channel, that is associated with absence seizures. And the last they are saying is increase in the trigeminal CGRP, that is calcitonin gene related peptide, CGRP. CGRP is associated with migraine. Yes, this is what we have discussed, CGRP. And that is why recently, because this theory is approved, we are using some CGRP receptor antagonist molecule in the treatment of migraine as well. So I can write this additional information here is, for the treatment of migraine, we have some new molecules such as in the form of G-pants, that is called as G-pant and G-pant. What they are is basically they are CGRP antagonist. CGRP antagonists are the new molecules which are coming up for the treatment of migraine, that is G-pant and G-pant. G-pant and G-pant, they are CGRP antagonists. So the answer to this question is trigeminal calcitonin gene related peptide. Thank you.